Most of what we know about migration issues comes from studies that have adopted a short-term view. However, to fully understand the impacts of migration, we have to have a long-term perspective. My job market paper tries to do this by examining the impact of mass emigration on the accumulation of human capital over a whole century. And to answer this question takes the precise example of the Galician diaspora in Latin America, one of the greatest migration experiences of the 20th century in Europe. We know very little about the impact of migration in the countries of origin because traditionally we lack historical data. But in my case, I had to collect and digitize new historical data coming from many different historical sources: population censuses, embarkation lists, and information about migrants associations and the destination of migrants at the very local level. Combining all this data with contemporary administrative and survey data, I constructed a new database of all Galician municipalities from 1860 until nowadays. And using this data and an empirical approach of instrumental variables, I examined how migration influenced investments in human capital in the Galician municipalities, both in the short run, while migration was taking place at the beginning of the 20th century, and the consequences until nowadays. What I find is that emigration decreased literacy rates in the home communities in Galicia in the short run. This is not a big surprise because migrants, they were more educated than the average of the population. So when they left, they decreased average educational levels. However, this effect is just temporary, and in 1 decade it becomes positive. One of the reasons for this is that many migrants come back, but moreover, migration provided an incentive to invest in children's education. Another channel through which Galician migration had a positive influence in their home communities was through the role of migrants associations. I document that migrants sending collective remittances, they contributed to the construction of hundreds of schools in their hometowns in Galicia. And collecting information on the location and year of opening of these schools merged with the current population censuses, I find that children who were very young when these new schools opened up benefited from them and achieved higher educational attainment. A final mechanism through which Galician migration was positive for the region was thanks to social remittances about the importance of education and effort. So migrants in Latin America, they specialize in services, so they experience high returns to being educated, completely different from the situation in Galicia. And there is plenty of historical narratives showing that they try to foster this sense of importance and a higher value for education to their relatives back home and once they come back. So based on all this historical evidence, I use survey data in which individuals report how much they value education today, and I find that in areas that experienced more immigration 100 years ago, individuals tend to put greater value, greater emphasis on the importance of education today. So all in all, my research provides new insights through which how migrants can influence educational attainment in their home communities and how this could be reinforced by public policies.